How's everybody doing? Good. Great. We're doing swell. Great. So, you guys know where you are, right? You're in the Thunderdome, so that kind of reaction is not acceptable. Otherwise, I will throw axes and everything at you. So, how are you doing? You get it, sir. You get it. Thank you for coming. All right, awesome. So, you are in the Thunderdome, the UCaaS Thunderdome. If you have attended a panel at the show, you probably saw a nice interchange of discussion about where we're going with the future of technology and that. If you're expecting that here, you're in the wrong spot. So now's your chance to leave. Please don't. So, like I said, yeah, he's going to get up and go. You know what we signed up for. This is going to be a very lively panel. We have taken willing victims, UCaaS vendors, and they're on stage, and we put them in front of a firing squad to ask the really hard questions. And guess what? They're on the stage. They can't BS you, because if they try to, I'll call them out, and they're gonna call them out. All right? So here's how this is gonna work. I already explained that we got the providers on the stage, we got the firing squad down here. These are known as our inquisitors. We're going to start with these guys introducing themselves. Then we're going to go into a pitch round where each of them will have no more than 30 seconds to explain what their company does and why they're awesome. And then we're going to go straight to our Inquisitor round, where these experts are going to ask them pointed questions, questions that maybe you never thought you could ask, to get the right answers from them. So hopefully this is a very engaging experience for you. Without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start with our providers. Let's start right here and go straight down the line. You have literally 5 seconds to introduce yourself and where you're from.
5 seconds. All right, my name is Jim McGarry. I'm the channel director for the central region of the country for Mitel.
Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Wade Wing. I'm a director of U.S. channels for Intrado.
Mario DeRigi, Senior Vice President of Channel Sales and Operations, Vonage, and I was told I'm not allowed to say fuck.
I don't know what to do right now.
All right. John Young with NetFortress, EVP of Sales, headquartered in Plano, Texas.
Awesome. So that was good. That was probably the most they're actually going to follow the rules. So round of applause for that. Great. Okay. As I said, we have our firing squad, aka our inquisitors, that are sitting down here. These are the experts that we brought in to ask the questions, the hard questions, to call BS whenever these guys are trying to sell you something, okay? So let's meet them. Let's start here on our left side.
Andrew Griffiths, I'm Senior VP at Teleris.
Okay.
Christine Sani, Channel Manager for the Mid-Atlantic with Intelisys.
Chris Donlin, Solution Architect with Microcorp.
And I forgot to introduce the most important person, and that is me. I am Brian Reynolds, Director of Sales Operations from TBI. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now, we're going to go right into our pitch round. You will have 30 seconds, 30 seconds to pitch your company and why you are awesome, okay? I am holding up a number behind my back. What is it?
2.
Pick a different one.
2.5.
Okay, you two, pick a number.
1.
What? Okay, pick a different one. You're like going around my number. It's not cool. Okay, you're first. We're going to start here, and we're going to go straight down, all right?
Save yourself 30 seconds.
I know, right? Seriously, I just wasted all that time for nothing. All right, here we go. Ready? Go.
At Mitel, we are fundamentally changing the way that customers communicate, not just internally with themselves, but externally with their customers, their clients, their vendors, by really focusing on a customer experience in a platform that is unmatched in this industry by partnering with Google Cloud. So look to Mitel for a wide breadth of international, of continued growth from a strength of platform in how we deliver our UCaaS and our CCaaS end user experience, as well as business applications of everything else that you touch within your industry.
Good.
All right.
Next.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that was good, right? That was good.
Intrado's, formerly West. I don't know if anybody here knows West, but we're a global provider of enterprise collaboration services, life and safety services, and digital media services. So what that means is hosted voice, hosted contact center, a wide variety of alerts and notifications, live streaming, and basically there are a bunch of tools that help our customers better engage with their end customers, their employees, and their stakeholders. And when you can do that and deliver on that, it creates a lot of value for the company.
Perfect. That was good too. 30 seconds. Nice.
So at Vonage, our focus for the last 5 years is how we transform our customer and partner experience. To be able to change that experience, you really need to go out and provide a technology stack that you can control the roadmap and control what happens to that customer and that partner. Over the last 5 years, we've assembled a technology stack from UC, CC, and API that is 100% owned and controlled by us, so we control the experience not only for our customer, but more importantly, what we're all here for is how we make that partner experience better and help you drive more revenue for you and your company.
Nice. Okay, well done. And last but certainly not least.
Excellent. NetFortris been in business 25 years. 2.5 years ago, we merged with Finality to provide our own proprietary UCaaS platform with software called Heads Up Display. Heads Up Display allows customers to have an entire view of their network, entire view of their users, to collaborate with products like Salesforce, Office 365, and other integrations and applications, because that's where the business is going. What's different about us is we can also provide SD-WAN circuits, so you take out that finger pointing.
Perfect. Nice. Very nice. Awesome. Are you sweating yet? No, we're not doing it right then. Okay, all right, so let's move into our Inquisitor round. So these individuals on the floor who introduced themselves a little bit ago are going to choose who they want to ask the question to. If you guys want to add something, please raise your hand. Depending on how much money you gave me before this, I may or may not let you speak. Okay. You're going to have to laugh at my jokes if we want this to go by a lot faster, okay? Thank you. Jeez. All right. Andrew, let's start with you.
So UCaaS and CCaaS, I know that some of you have a stack where you control it all, because you just told us that, and some of you don't. So I want to see the case for and the case against. Single stack versus UCaaS from one, CCaaS from another. So I get to choose who this goes to?
You get to choose who it goes to. If you want to go to all of them,
I
choose who
think
it goes
I'll
to
go
first.
with 1 and 3.
All right, I like that one. I'll take that. So in the Mitel world, we have it two different ways, right? So you can absolutely own your stack completely through our platform, through the developments that we've made on our old product in the UCaaS and CCaaS suite. Those are products that we've had for the last 15 years, now moved over to our cloud architecture. But we've also given it to you from another point of view when we really need to focus on a higher customer experience and we want to get into the omni-channel side of that business, which is so important for everything that you're talking about with your customer experience. And that's where we've actually partnered with TalkDesk. And the TalkDesk partnership is actually very unique to them and to Mitel, where this isn't just an over-the-top scenario. We're actually taking the code, bringing it into the Mitel GCP platform, into our data center. It's branded as Mitel. It's supported as Mitel. It is implemented, project managed. Everything to the end user is Mitel, including the CCaaS and the UCaaS hook between the two. So now I can have a CCaaS conversation, move it over to the UC side, and vice versa, all built in with one single image.
So if you look at customer experience and even partner experience, to really control an experience, to really drive that experience to that end user so they look at you as a way to better engage you, to help them better their business outcomes, you have to own your stack, right? If you look at the technology change today and the transformation of cloud, it is one of the things that scares most companies more than anything else because they're so used to that premise-based. I think Mitel could speak to it, right? They were premise-based, went to cloud. You know, and I think what they're doing as a hybrid probably is going to work and help them get them there, but to actually own the stack, control the code and control the roadmap, I could actually go deeper with my customers, get more interaction, more engagement, drive a better experience for their customers, drive a better experience for their employees, which is going to drive more revenue for my partners and my company. And when you could layer on top of that owning the third part of the stack, which is the API platform with our Nextmo API platform, and integrate to over hundreds of different applications that they run internally to make it seamless, it truly will change that experience and make it not only better for the customer, better for the partner, better for us.
Totally agree. So
Yeah,
own the stack.
Let's let Wade respond.
Yeah, I would just add that we have a Cisco platform. We have a variety of platforms, but one of them that we really excel on is Cisco. And from my perspective, you talk about the partner experience. I think one of the key things to think about is with Cisco, there's such an installed base out there. There's so much you can do to go out there and find that business and take it to the cloud. That and the integrations capability, your ability to really customize a Cisco solution for a customer, you can. I mean, it meets world-class requirements of contact center environments. So I agree, having control of the platform is a positive thing. But when you also have the Cisco platform, it gives you a lot of that control as well.
AC, and I'll take the opposite end. I don't care if it's Cisco, Polycom, Yealink, or whatever. It's whatever the customer desires and needs. Right. And there is such a need out there for a technology upgrade that our focus is not on a specific manufacturer. Our focus is on a specific business need. And for us, it could be Yealink, it could be Polycom, it could be Cisco. We don't care. We just want to make sure we're meeting the needs of those customers.
Right. You want to say something? Yeah.
Building the software ourselves, owning it, having the engineers that created the code and built the code gives us the ability to customize when needed. We have control over the security patches. We have control over what gets pushed down to our customer base. And that's big for us. If something happens on the software, it's us. It's not some other manufacturer that we're buying from. So I feel owning it is extremely valuable.
Gotcha. All right. Christine, got a question?
I do. So we're here to talk about unified communications as a service. I'd like to ask, how does your organization prioritize service in the monotony of deploying technology day to day?
Who would you like to answer?
Number 2.
So how do we prioritize deploying?
How do you prioritize the service piece of unified communications as a service?
So I think one of the key things is you got to make sure it's going to really work well for the customer. So you made the point of business outcomes. So we're really big on making sure that when we sit down with a customer, we sit down with a partner, we really learn what their needs are and make sure that we're not just trying to drive home one particular application. I talked about Cisco as an example. We have a wide range of solution sets available to us, but it's really making sure that you're custom tuning that solution to the needs of the customer. And then once the customer does make the decision to go forward, then you put a project management team on it who owns that process from beginning to end. So it's making sure that you sell it, you have the right people who control the process from beginning to end, and a lot of times you have to push back on the customer and say, hey, we've got to slow down this process because we want to make sure we get it right. We want to make sure that it's a solution that makes sense for you and that it meets your needs. And so it's as you own that implementation process, you got to make sure that it's appropriate to what they're trying to accomplish.
And I would add to it is that we're all in that.
Did you raise your hand?
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Now I'm in timeout. So I would add to that by saying that we're all in that service business now. Every single month, our customers vote with their checks to us to say, how are you performing as a service? Are you giving us what we need? Or is all of that validation comes every single month. So what we've done to really prioritize that is focus with that end in mind, right? Collecting that check from that customer, what would they say? Would it be a positive score every single month from us? And we empower our partners as well as our own badged project managers to implement the entire solution from beginning to end, soup to nuts, all the way through the process.
So I'll just add to that there's nothing more important than service, right? I have a saying is you got to love your customers to death because without them you don't have a company. But if you look at that deployment of a technology of whatever it may be, there are so many things that could come up you just don't know what to expect because there's a lot of times there's things within the infrastructure that you didn't know in your discovery phase. So how you react and you overcome those obstacles that come up is really important. So one of the things that everybody keeps pushing is automation, right? Let's automate and make it easy. And I think that's great because it drives productivity, but it also drives the opportunity for you not being able to overcome those obstacles that come in. And for us, that's where we really want to engage our partner community, right? our partners know their customers better than almost anybody, and the vast majority of them, they're the trusted advisors, technology advisors for them. So how do we not only provide a service level that is adequate and far superior than our competitors to that customer, but how do we also engage our partners so they continue to drive a better service level with us? Because it's not just us, it's, we're going in with our partner and using them as part of our process.
I would agree. You earn their service every day. You said it. We're in a service business, so every single day we have to continue to earn their business for the next day and the next day. And then you earn that second contract. But service not only comes just from the uptime, it comes from how you respond to things. As a company, if you're communicating with your partners, you're communicating with your customers, it's not what happens, it's how you respond to it. And that's part of providing good service, all the way down from billing to technical support. You have to communicate properly.
All right, Chris, got a question? Make it a good one.
I got about 50. I'm going to start with this one. It's a little bit like yours, but in a little different vein. UCaaS and SD-WAN is a marriage that is perfect for each other, for the inherent qualities of voice and what SD-WAN does. However, the question begs, where do I get my SD-WAN provider? Your UCaaS software is only as good as the network in between that desktop and that software, right? So why should a partner, and therefore an end user, buy an SD-WAN solution from their UCaaS provider? And should they? I want to ask all four of them if it's okay.
Where would you like to start?
We'll start down here with NetForters.
So we provide SD-WAN along with the circuits and the network. So that allows us to own that project management instance from start to finish. And it eliminates that finger pointing of, hey, that's the carrier's problem. No, it's their UCaaS service provider problem, or it's something else. It allows us to diagnose the entire network as a managed service and provide that partner and customer peace of mind that they have one phone number to call when they need it. They have one troubleshooting point to call. They have one project manager to call, so they don't have to manage different pieces of the solution. So why they should do that? Because we can do it all, and it saves them a lot of time and trouble. They're not in the business of telecommunications. We are.
Can I interject?
Yeah,
what about
this
all
is your
the other?
show.
What about all the other cloud applications?
For instance,
They've got presence in Azure. They've got presence in AWS. Is a UCaaS provider capable of being able to address all the other applications that are necessary in the business to work beyond just their own UCaaS solution?
possibly, but that's part of discovery, is to figure out what is mission critical, what touches the network. That's just part of the discovery that you need to go and do, because you need to understand the bandwidth pull on that network. Once you start putting in UCaaS, what other data is coming through that network? It's very important.
So I'll jump in. Should you have SD-WAN? Yes, undoubtedly, right? It's just, we provide a 5.9 SLA, and we'll only provide that 5.9 SLA if they have an SD-WAN solution in front of it. It is, for today with mission critical, you got to remember, a UCaaS is just a collection device, right? That UCC, if used properly, is a collection device for information that can be used as analytics throughout anything else in the business. So like any other thing that you want for analytics, you want to make sure you give it the opportunity to have as much uptime as possible. So SD-WAN is today the proven technology to make that work. So that being said, we do provide SD-WAN as part of our solution offering. I'll tell you right now, I could care less if you use mine or not. I will tell you that for the most part, our partners have their providers they use. We work well with our partners. We integrate our partners in our service delivery and program management, so we could get a good understanding of what they're putting in and include them in the project plan. And for us, as long as they have it, I don't care where it comes from, we'll provide it, but the vast majority, our partners are providing on their own.
Yeah, our approach has always been we wanted to be able to provide everything, right? Because we knew that customer who has network with one person, a phone system with another, and dial tone with another, fraught with issues. If there's something came up, they didn't know where the problem was. So our approach has always been we wanted to provide it all. So that's been a big part of what we do. MPLS is something we've done for a long time. We still find that it's in a vast majority of the sales that we have. Now, it's not across the board, right? There's still a lot of people that are using SD-WAN in different portions of the business. We're actually rolling out an SD-WAN solution next month. It's also going to be based on a Cisco technology. But we think there's a lot of value in being able to provide it all because, again, to the point of when there's an issue, the customer wants to be able to call in, talk to one person, one organization, get it fixed, and not worry about finger pointing of where the issue really lies.
So I'm definitely in the minority on this one because to us, we really take that best of breed approach from an SD-WAN provider scenario. There's no way I can think that I'm going to get ahead of an SD-WAN implementation and then try to force my own down their throat. It's just not going to happen, right? So in our world, we absolutely love it when SD-WAN is there. SLA doesn't matter whether it's SD-WAN or not. We still provide the same SLA. But what we're developing and what you're about to hear is roadmap information. This should no way influence anything you're about to do with Mitel or anything like that. But imagine this. Imagine an application store with all of the major SD-WAN providers that you can just drop into your system and say, this is the application I'm using, this is the device that I'm using, whatever you want it to be, and it just be made available to you to be able to just incorporate that policy and those policies into what you've already put in place.
All right, I've got a question. Are you ready? It's going to be a doozy.
Yes.
You're not sweating enough. So, out of the people on the stage, besides me, of course, who is your biggest competitor and what do they do better than you? And let's start with this side.
So I would probably say Vonage. We run into Vonage quite a bit in the UCaaS and the CCaaS space. That's probably who we see the most. I would say that. I would think I think you do well with incorporating with other Polycom type phones and doing that, getting the other devices that are out there. In concert to that, I think what we do really well is we understand the PBX side of everything that happens with UCaaS. One of the biggest disservices we've done in our industry is trying to make everything in the UCaaS world seem slam dunk, simple, easy. There's still a ton of routing. There's still a lot of stuff that goes into in understanding how calls need to flow and process, and we get that down packed. And that really hits us from a project management all the way through from sales, project management, and into support as well.
I love how you molded my question at the end there as a great sales guy right there. Next.
I mean, if I had to say who we compete against the most, I'd probably say it's Mitel, quite honestly. Just from my own experience, it seems like where we play in the enterprise space, I think that's where we see Mitel more frequently than some of the other vendors. And I can't think of the reason why. I mean, I'm stuck here.
We've been doing it for the last 45 years, right?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Yeah. We can move on.
Yeah.
Next.
So competitor-wise, I would say overall, I probably would run into Mitel the most. So out there, it depends on the space, right? As we go up to enterprise and combined UCC bundles, Mitel's probably there more. As we go to some other ones, we'll see, NetFortris and some others. What do they do well?
Yeah. What do they do better than you?
So one of the things I like about Mitel, outside not owning your own stack truly, is you make it easy. And that's it. When it comes to technology, you got to make it easy. Mitel does a nice job of making it easy for people.
But let's just go back. We do own our own stack. We have
Resell and talk desk is not owning your own stack.
Anyway.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
So it really depends on the size of the customer. Since we serve UCaaS from 2 to thousands, we really hit all of the vendors that you mentioned, RingCentrals and the 8x8s and Nextivas and Jives, and depends on the vertical and where we're at. Because of our portfolio, we're always in the game with people like Windstream and Fusion and Masergy and Evolve IP. Those are guys that we battle on a portfolio basis. But what I think the UCaaS vendors do really well is they've been able to go out and merger and acquisition. They've been able to get the technology that they want by purchase instead of by development and been able to grow that way. That's where I think that we've been a little bit behind.
Okay. Question?
Well, I just love the backhanded compliments you make to each other. I think that's fantastic. Nicely done.
Did you expect anything less?
I didn't expect any compliments, so that was good.
We got to balance it out. You got another question for him?
Yeah, so in the spirit of today being Apple announcing the technology for the coming year, I'm curious if you guys can share something about how in 2020 you're going to differentiate from a technology perspective. Because we can all talk about service, we can talk about the other differentiators, but to most customers, I could show all of your products and they'll go, yeah, they look the same. So what's coming? What's new?
So I'll start off real quick.
Why don't we start with number 3?
What's that? I'm starting with 3. I know. I'm just jumping in here. Sorry, it's been a long day since 7 o'clock this morning. A couple things. First of all, we truly differentiate our contact center because we're so Salesforce centric. If you look at our contact center as a service, it is not. I would tell you, if you want an integrated Salesforce contact center, TalkDesk is it. Right? They are. They're best integrated. We're not integrated at all. We're embedded. So our technology lives within the Salesforce architecture, where Salesforce wants a single pane of glass, right? They don't want a swivel chair. They want their users, the largest CRM in the world, to sit on one pane of glass and run their entire operation through that one pane of glass. And that's what our contact center does. So now that you own that piece and you own that, technology, and by the way, our close rate on any Salesforce opportunity is just under 50%, like 49.6%. So if it's Salesforce, we win. It's what else are you going to grow there? So we made an announcement about 3 weeks ago. We acquired a company called Over AI in artificial intelligence. So for us now, it's how do we take the AI technology and start overlaying it into our contact center, UC, video embedded products, and start using that to help drive better solutions for our customers, right? So when you look at a contact center, by tone or word or whatever they say, can you take that and automatically route based on certain keywords to different people and things like that? So we acquired that 2 weeks ago, closed in-house, and we are going to start building that over onto our technology stack.
Okay, so
Since you were so polite.
this is we said this is my 3rd in a row
Yeah.
Thunderdome.
Yeah.
That's
You got a lot of wounds on you.
no offense, because I know you guys have been on them too. That was the best question that I
Ooh.
think we've had on this.
I don't
Suck
know.
up.
I like my
Congratulations.
questions.
Sucking up doesn't save you from nasty questions.
No, it's perfect. But to Mario's point, AI is, I think, where we're going to see so much of this industry transition really immediately. If you haven't witnessed it happening, it is already happening every single day. And not just in the contact center platform itself and not from a customer experience only. We're talking about being able to put it in just to a regular user's conversation, pattern speech, record that speech, send flags on all of that kind of stuff. I mean, that is really incredible where that piece is headed. And then just continue to see more and more presence in a mobile platform. If you're not talking to a vendor who's mobile first and from their platform perspective, you're already way behind the 8 ball, right? Because everything has to be built on mobile. Everything has to now be built on emojis. 35% of conversations that happen out there today happen with strictly emojis or pictures or images of some sort. So you have to be
I don't
able
talk to
adapt
those people.
that. You're going to have to.
But
No,
I do
I don't.
have a follow-up, if I may interject. Because
It doesn't work on your BlackBerry, don't ask.
But I hear the industry leveraging more technology, and I'm happy that you brought up AI. I think it's phenomenal. But how do you prepare for it to fail?
That's a good question.
That is deep. So if you're preparing to fail, prepare for it like that kind of backup worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
I think the default is still always going to be people, right? I mean, when we're talking about AI, we're talking about, are there way extremes of AI where Will Smith comes running out with a robot and all of that?
Well, no, but if you're
Absolutely.
using it to improve
sure.
an experience, which
Yeah.
drives behavior internally within your organization,
Yeah.
do you have a roadmap to prepare for failure when it fails? Because we all know technology will fail.
So Christine, there's 2 failures, right? You have a technology failure where, hopefully you've done enough beta testing up front that you're going to get a majority of out. If not, I agree. You have people in the background, that's where you go. But the biggest failure I would be concerned with is not the technology failure, it's the process failure, right? So as you go out and you're rolling out these new technologies and you're going out, you're doing a discovery with the customer and you're trying to figure out what is the best feature set for that customer. Making sure they understand how to use that technology and how to use it when it does not hit the outcomes they're expecting is just as important as the technology failing. If the technology failing, I don't want to say it's easy, it sucks, but you have a backup, right? It's always good. I have yet to call a contact center where you can't dial 0. You might have to dial 6 times before you get somebody and start screaming, but you'll get a person sooner or later. It's really that process driven of the technology that I would be more worried about than anything.
Yeah, with everybody doing AI and moving to something new, how do you differentiate between different AIs and what is actually
Hey,
impactful
we're asking the
to somebody's
questions here.
business. I don't know how that's going to happen. So it could be a failure that AI is being developed in the wrong way in some cases.
Let me just answer also, as far as like technology that's coming down the pike. So we acquired a company, a solution called Evoke, which, we're talking about contact centers. We have a variety of contact center solutions that we make available to our customers. Again, it's about finding the right business outcome. But one of the things that we've been able to do is this solution called Evoke allows us to really kind of step in any kind of contact center environment and sample the calls really from the carrier side. So we can watch a call come in from the very beginning all the way through, like from cradle to grave, and see where there's choke points, see where there's instead of the calls going through the IVR and then hitting a contact center, it allows you to constantly tweak and improve. So back to the AI part, a lot of that we're sampling right now, and we actually have live people listening in on calls and like marking where there's certain words that are being caught. The AI is going to allow us to sample a much larger percentage of those calls and really help our customers fine-tune contact center in general. Because you think about a large contact center, if you can make one small improvement that saves, just a couple of seconds from a call, over the course of the year, that can save millions of dollars. So that's where we're making some big investments in technology next year.
All right. Chris, do you have a question?
So, we know AI's on the roadmap. We know contact center. We know what's on the roadmap, right? We know mobility's huge. But how does a partner differentiate who to choose, or an end user, who to choose? You said earlier, you all kind of look the same. And to an average agent, partner, or end user, you all do look the same. So how do you differentiate, or how do they differentiate picking Mitel over Vonage over NetFortris? We'll start with you.
You really have to differentiate by your process. You really have to go in and earn the trust of that partner first. So that they understand your process pre-sales and post-sales, all the way to customer nurture throughout the life cycle of that contract. Because you really want that second and third contract as much as the first, just for that stability. So you really have to come in and sell them on your process. How are we going to go in and discovery? How are we going to go in together and pitch this solution? So that's what we do at NetFortris, is go in and become advisors to the partner and be an extension of their sales team when we go in and talk to customers.
So I'll jump on top of it, and I agree, right? I think process is extremely important, but you got to differentiate. You got to explain, and you need to enable and train on what sets your product suite apart. And I do think for everyone up here, and this is a compliment, and I'm probably not the right place, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, right? And based on the customer you're going to, there may be a strength or a weakness that better suits that customer. So by going out and actually training and spending the time on messaging to your partners on why they should lead with you, right? For us, right now, we are Vonage equals Salesforce, right? Based on our product set right now, we know we differentiate there, because when it comes to Salesforce, nobody can compete with the product set based on the technology we own. And Mitel may have their reason, and Intrado and everybody else. So whatever that message is, just make sure you're going in and explaining it and consistently explain it, right? And I'll be the first one to tell you, when I first started, I've been at Vonage for 9 months. When I started, my first thing is, if I'm a partner, why am I buying from you? I asked 10 people to work for me, and guess what I got? 10 different answers, which tells me what? My partners are confused as hell. So the first thing I did is said, we have one message, whatever it is, and we're going to repeat the same message over and over again until our partners understand it, because we can't go out there and confuse them. So that lack of consistency, I think, just hurts it. So just keep giving that consistent messaging. And of course, the process, the procedure, the partner experience, that's all extremely important.
I think you can, kind of look at it as like what kind of markets you serve, right? I mean, I think we all have the capability to probably, the SMB, mid-sized enterprise, large enterprise, but like, what are you really good at? And when I look at our experience, we've always been really good at the 250 seats or greater and the Cisco environments, right? Because our platform is a Cisco-based platform. If the customer has, there's a huge, again, like I said earlier, there's a huge installed Cisco, marketplace out there. When you can go out there and find a customer who's Cisco on-prem today, they want to go to the cloud, a Cisco solution is going to make a lot of sense for them. One, because they're going to be able to leverage the existing infrastructure and the investments they already have. There's a comfort level there, and they can make that transition. So I think that's one of the key areas where we really feel at Intrado we're a great fit for that customer that's in Cisco today, trying to go to the cloud. And then I also think it's about the breadth of the product set. We have like I said, hosted voice contact center, alerts and notifications, a really wide set of solutions that sometimes it's you got to find another way to get in the door, right? I mentioned the Evoke platform for our contact center environment that allows you to come in and get the door open, and then once you're in there, then you have a wide set of solutions that you can continue to push and sell through that environment. So from my perspective, it's that, what do you fit, where do you fit well, and then how do you make the most how do you make the most from those relationships that you have, and that's having that wide product set that you can continue to sell once you're in there.
And I think we all agree that if we're selling features, we've already lost, right? It's just another Me Too quote. Here you go, pick which one that you want. So to us, and we've all experienced it, and you all have as well, that we often get that one deal from an agent or from one of our partners. We get that one deal. We get that opportunity to shine, right? We've had channel folks in there talking with your team. You've heard it from your master agent. You got to talk with Mitel. You get that opportunity. And when you get that opportunity, you have to treat that thing like gold and understand that we're going to walk you through that process all the way. Your customer is going to be taken care of, so that at the end of the day, not only is your customer satisfied and happy with everything that went on during that implementation, but how they're going to be supported and how you're going to feel on the next implementation.
All right.
Can I just add one thing to that? Because
No.
I do agree with everything everybody
gonna
said.
talk over me. That's
but
fine.
the most important part of this that everybody leaves out is I think everybody understands what needs to be done is the execution. That's where everybody trips up. Sorry. I didn't say fuck, so.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you have to stop cutting you off. I'll shut your mic off. Anyway, if you had to explain UCaaS to a 6-year-old, how would you do it? I'm going to start with you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, does a 6-year-old have an iPhone? Or an iPad?
I think they probably do
These
nowadays.
days.
but
So I would look at them and say, when you go out and take a picture and you store it up on the cloud just so you could use that sometime later, UCaaS is taking communication, putting it in the cloud so you can use it whenever you want, the same way you can use that picture whenever you want.
Okay.
That's pretty good, actually. I haven't really thought about explaining it to a 6-year-old, but if I had to, I would explain it like the internet. It's always there when you need it, wherever you are. It's on your phone everywhere. So you can work from anywhere, you can be anywhere, and that's how you're enabled. So that's probably where I'd go with it.
Wait.
I'd probably talk about Netflix, right? I mean, every kid knows about Netflix and all the shows that they can watch on Netflix. That's a good way to do it, right? Just talk about, hey, we don't have all these movies here. We don't have to run and go rent the movie. It's all coming from the cloud. So the same thing works when you're talking about a big organization who has a phone system instead of that big box sitting in the closet somewhere that makes that thing work. It's all in the cloud, just like with Netflix.
Okay.
I literally just had this conversation with an 8-year-old.
Ooh.
That's my daughter. She asked me one day, she said, "Dad, what do you do?" And I was like, well,
Listen
ask
to
Mom.
this real carefully.
Oh, she don't know? That's all right. Well, we'll just keep going. But I think we can say, I would probably say it's harder to explain what UCaaS is to a 60-year-old than it is to a 6-year-old. And here's was my experience. Because what you guys talked about were applications that we use every day, but I really tried to tie it into communications. So for them, they use anyone know what the House Party app is? Has anyone seen House Party? Okay.
Yeah.
Or has anyone seen WhatsApp? So my kids use that all the time. So I said, so instead of me going into House Party and video and like seeing what my friends are doing, I just go into my teamwork application, which is the Mitel application, and that's where I participate in my communication with them. So my daughter was like, so that's like your house party? Yes, it's my house party.
Okay. All right. That was good. So I have one more question, and then we'll take one more round. You got to
Just
comment.
want to make a comment that when you explain it to a 6-year-old, do it at bedtime because they'll fall asleep.
That would have been the right
Are you
answer.
saying this is boring? Okay.
Hey, at least I used house party applications that they use, right?
I guess. All right, so one question I get asked a lot, and maybe it has a place, maybe not, but is 5G going to have any effect on what you guys do or what you guys sell or anything like that?
Bring it.
So
yeah.
let's start here.
Absolutely, bring it. I mean, how can more data be a bad thing, right? Not only is it going to help us with what we're going to get from a data perspective. You don't think so? You're disagreeing with me?
I'm just looking intently.
You are looking intently. Okay,
what you're gonna say.
I guess let me think of it the way that I
It
see it.
depends on how the data is used.
Yeah,
Right?
fair, that's fair. So to me, I look at it as access. Give me access to the cloud. You give me access to the cloud at a faster, higher speed. How is that a bad thing for me? Right? I love that. If you're talking about data analytics and the way that that's being processed, I guess that's a different story. So maybe is it a two-part question?
Sure.
Okay.
You made it a two-part
Okay,
question.
so in the first part of the question, data speed, I think we all agree, and or at least I agree that that's better, right? Bigger, faster, better. I live in Texas, so we'll take it. Data analytics, I have a little bit of a different opinion, because I'm going to think I have a different opinion from you from the glare that I saw, because I think of it as what if we could use the information for good? What if I could proactively tell you what somebody's working on, what somebody's thinking, what device is about to fail, what's going on within an employee's enterprise, or what needs might they have? That's part of what we're doing with Google right now, and it's really, really interesting stuff if you use it for the right purposes, right? If the intent is good and the
How
intent
do you
is there.
police that?
Next
At
question.
Mitel.
5G is still in a lab. Who knows?
Well, but that's what I mean. To me, 5G is speeds and feeds, right?
We'll see what it looks like when they decide to roll it out and tell us how we're going to get it.
It is here in DC, just saying.
In Austin too.
Anybody else got any comments on that?
I mean, just adding to that, right? I mean, obviously, if you have more data, more capability, it allows you to create more robust tools. And the more robust the tool is, the more information that can be included in that just gives you better insight, right? That you can act on quickly, regardless of where you might be and what device you might be using.
Gotcha.
It's so early to tell. I'd like to see, first of all, when it gets rolled out and how, consistently the coverage is. And,
Is it
listen,
metered?
in a perfect world, yeah, it's fantastic. But, I stopped living in a perfect world a long time ago.
We don't live in a perfect world.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to do nothing but improve UCaaS. It's going to improve communications, clearly.
Okay, cool. So we got some time for a few more questions if you have a burning question. Yeah,
I'll
go
take
ahead.
one. So what's the most counterproductive behavior that you see from end customers, and what have you done to overcome that?
Who do you want to answer first?
I think it's like once the company's made the decision to, I set myself up here. I think once the company's made the decision to acquire some technology, when you have end users who are resisting leveraging that technology, I think that can be very disruptive from the standpoint of you're not going to get that return on investment. You're not going to see the deliverables that you're looking for in making an investment like that.
That's good.
So-
I'll probably add on to that too. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the second part was what would you do to overcome it?
Well, you got to have you have to structure your training the appropriate way, right? So we're a big believer. We don't sell a solution without training being part of it. And certainly we'll sell virtual training if that's what the customer really wants. But we push really, really hard throughout our sales process to do in-person training, small groups, have the technology live there, and just make sure that that you impress upon the customer and the end users that you got to take them out of their environment. Got to get them away from their busy days and really devote their time and energy to learning that product and give them, and not just the training, but you want to involve them through the sales process, right? If you get those end users involved early on, they're helping design the right solution, make the right decision, they're going to be bought in. And I think it's all part through the sales process and training that you overcome that.
A lot of the reasons that people buy the product is not the same way the users want to use it. A lot of the times there's a lot of really neat integrations, a lot of applications that people use every single day, and they want to include it now in their UC. But if half of the sales force or the executives don't use it, it's not going to push that technology forward. So that's a big problem with UC is there's so much out there, but what do people really do with it?
So I'm going to take a step before that. You spend all this time in discovery, you have all these conversations, you talk about the implementation, and then you get ready to start the implementation plan, and there is this, tendency to not have the right resources, even though you've had the discussions, nor have the appropriate timelines to implement what you just said you were going to do. So I'll take it for that. I agree that the whole training issue and around using the proxy, but the problem is I find that people just think that, this is just going to go in, I don't have to do anything, right? It's that implementation plan up front. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times people are like, well, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. And I'm like, well, who's going to do it for you? It's just having the right resources up front to go out and to implement the product you bought. And I see that happen all the time. People just don't do it.
And I think as partners, right, putting this back to you guys, this is the opportunity that you have, and this is where you add so much value, is to overcome it, get in front of it. The best customers, the happiest customers we have are the ones who got to add their version of their input during that sales process, that got to see the demonstration. Anyone want to raise their hand how many times they've gotten to a signed contract and said, oh yeah, the CEO would like to see what he's buying? Anybody? Yeah, there we go. Thank you, honesty in the back. I've been there too, right? We've all been there. So get that buy-in up front, solution around that, and as soon as you do that, instantly we see the feature usage go up just tremendously because they start recognizing where all the collaboration can truly happen.
I would have thought the bad behavior was selling on price per seat.
Excuse me?
I would have thought the bad behavior is selling on price per seat.
That's a good one.
You get into a price war, you never win that war. It's just that simple. Anybody who buys on price, and I would never say price is not important, because I do believe in all our lives, everything we do, price is an important component we do, but how many of us actually use price as the only component? So if you make it about price, that customers, they may buy from you, but they're going to leave you for price right down the line as well.
I was going to say, you
You're
buy
not sticking
on
against
price,
me.
you leave on price. That's what happens.
All right, I want to make sure we have enough time if the audience members have any questions that they want to ask these. Any questions from the audience? I shall come to you. Are you ready? It's going to be a good one, I can tell.
I know.
Thanks for the question. So it's not in the channel yet, but there's a lot of hype around Zoom Phone. And from the UCaaS side, how do you see that affecting your business?
So that's a fantastic question. So A+, he might get the award, or at least for audience participation. So we've known about it for a little bit, right? We know that Zoom, obviously leader. They're the 800-pound gorilla in that video space. It's a little bit of a wait and see from the UC side, but we've taken our stance with Zoom, much like we take our stance with Microsoft. It's truly co-opetition for us. So if you're a Zoom user in the Mitel world, bring it. Bring that Zoom over here, and we're going to incorporate it into what we're doing within our teamwork collaboration platform.
Was the question about Zoom's UC platform, the disruption? Is that what it is? Yeah, we've seen it. We've actually lost some deals to Zoom. We have Zoom integrated into our product on a single sign-on. We have been for a while. We've been grandfathered in. We got in so early, but we've lost some deals that had some international pieces where they were really tied into Zoom, and they just went ahead with the UC as well. They felt it was less disruptive.
So all I'll add is I think Zoom's going to be a strong competitor, but when less than 20% of the entire market uses a cloud-based UC platform, I'll worry about it when we get to about 60 or 70.
And we haven't seen it at all, like in the true enterprise environment. We haven't seen it from a voice space. We haven't seen it at all yet. I mean, we certainly see it from a collaboration standpoint.
Well, since RingCentral's not here, just hopefully to go after all their RingCentral, Zoom customers and take them over. We don't have to worry about it.
You had a question?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think UCaaS will one day exist without equipment? Are you?
Does today.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well-
it does
we're probably 25% of our deployments are mobile only.
mobile only. Oh,
Mobile
wow.
only. Yeah, I mean it is. I would say it's here. Millennials don't want a phone. They'd rather just take that app. I keep my home phone only because Verizon told me they charged me more if I canceled it from my triple play. So otherwise I wouldn't take it.
I think
I would just use mobile.
Be headsets and soft phones pretty soon, if it not already. Most of the rest of the world in the enterprise space, the contact center space, it's headsets and soft phones. There's nothing on the desk.
So you asked that differentiating question earlier, right? So I totally agree that we're already in that world where you can deploy completely on soft phone or mobile, no problem, right? We have a little wrinkle where we're, unlike some of the others, Smooth Stone's a little bit different, but we own the handset, we manufacture the handset, which allows us to do really unique and cool things from a security perspective that still is valuable in the enterprise today, and when we definitely highlight that when we can. So we don't necessarily always want to be looped into that. We can go down that path, but so many times there's a really good feeling about having a phone on your desk and being able to tie all of the key PBX features as well as security to it.
All right, as fun as this has been, unfortunately, we're out of time. If you have any questions or comments for these individuals, please find them after. I want to thank all of the panelists. I want to thank all the Inquisitors. It's not easy doing these, so give a round of applause for these guys up here. Round of applause for the Inquisitors. And thank you very much.